I think I'm sophisticated cause I'm living my life like a good homo sapien. But all around me everybody's multiplying and they're walking around like flies, man. So I'm no better than the animals sitting in their cages in the zoo, man. Cause compared to the flowers and the birds and the trees, I am an ape man. I think I'm so educated and I'm so civilized cause I'm a strict vegetarian. But with the overpopulation and inflation and starvation and the crazy politicians, I don't feel safe in this world no more. I don't wanna die in a nuclear war. I wanna sail away to a distant shore and make like an ape man. I'm an ape man, I'm an ape man, no I'm an ape man. I'm a King Kong man, I'm a voodoo man, no I'm an ape man. Cause compared to the sun that sits in the sky, compared to the clouds that say roll by, compared to the bugs and the spiders and flies, I am an ape man. La 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 la. In man's evolution, he's created the city and the motor traffic rumble. But give me half a chance and I'll be taking off my clothes and living in the jungle. Cause the only time that I feel at ease is swinging up and down in a...
The Berries of Summer. The Berries of Summer experience and lesson actually started the year previous, when Susan and I visited the exact same spot. It is not unusual for them to set up a lesson and have portions of the lesson separated by a year or more. This was the case here. Shortly after we woke and greeted the new day, blessed with warm temperatures and clear blue skies, I noticed that our forest friends had left us a glyph, placed strategically just outside of our tent. Its message was familiar and featured the XA combination, which from my understanding is friendship, welcome, from the clan of RE. There was one subtle difference, however. The portion of the glyph that formed the A was etched into the sand with a stick, or more likely a finger. Up to that point, I had never seen them do this. The significance of it became apparent the next year with the discovery of our initials. Circumstances dictated that our initials were done by them, and to think otherwise seems unlikely, if not ludicrous to me. But this initial glyph from the previous year added even more credence to it. They were letting Susan and I know a full year previous that they did these things. And when I saw our SB initials etched into the sand the following year, I recognized it for what it was. It is interesting to note that Sue and I went for a short hike after seeing the glyph, and when we returned it had been changed. The X was still there, but the etching in the sand that formed the A had been rubbed out. It appeared to have been rubbed out by probably a palm. It was just one more confirmation that they were with us. This account was written in 2013, and I have left it pretty much as I originally wrote it. It seems a little naive compared to my current understanding, but that's to be expected. Returning to our remote paradise was magic for Sue and I. Unlike our first venture into this beautiful place, the weather was warm and dry. We camped in a very remote area that was surrounded on all four sides by block mountains and fast running streams of drinkable water, the nectar of the gods. We marveled at the stars that filled the big sky, while each morning we were awakened by a symphony of song, provided by a variety of fine feathered friends. Day 2 saw us rise at mid-morning, and after coffee and a modest breakfast, we decided to follow the river up the valley and do a little off-trail exploring, and visit a favorite spot we had discovered the summer previous. This was no easy feat, as we had to maneuver over and under a number of trees that formed a logjam over a clear, pristine pool of water. After successfully navigating our way through this obstacle course, we headed up the riverbed and lingered leisurely at a salmonberry patch that was littered with ripe, colorful orange and red fruit. I remember that we both felt a presence and watchful, inquisitive eyes as we laughed amongst ourselves over who could discover the biggest, juiciest, and most perfect offering. Sue preferred the red berries, while I favored the orange. We enjoyed our bounty and ate our fill before making our way across the somewhat shallow but fast-running river. There was not a soul around. In fact, in all the years I have visited this place, I have seldom, if ever, encountered another person anywhere near this spot. We were many miles into the backcountry, and this area was not easy to access, either in the direction from which we had approached or through the dozens of yards of thick bush and brambles that separated it from the meager path. As we made our way towards our special spot, we noticed a most curious thing: our initials on the sand, that appeared to have been drawn with a large finger or stick. There was no so-and-so loves so-and-so. There was no big heart or Cupid's arrow. There was simply the initials. We continued along and saw in total 6 sets of these letters, leading directly to the spot that was our goal. Once there, we saw the 7th set of these initials alongside a small rock stack. In the beginning, we just noted what we had seen without considering it in its context. But as time passed, we considered this in more depth. Who had done this? Was there a logical explanation for it? Why they led us to the exact spot we had in mind was most curious. There were no other initials beyond this spot. Understanding that this is an area of low clouds trapped between surrounding mountains where it rains almost every day made it even more curious. The initials were, in our estimation, fresh. Was somebody hiding in the nearby brush, laughing at us as we scratched our head in bewilderment? If so, how did they know our goal? For that matter, how did they even know we would be in this canyon on this exact day, let alone the exact route we would take that led to our destination? I no longer pose these questions and haven't for a number of years. It's abundantly clear that they know where we're headed virtually before we do, and their manipulation of time can set up any number of events that to us seem to flow in the ordered fashion of our understanding. That and the fact that they can read our thoughts and intent guarantee that they are always 3 steps ahead. After a short visit, we chose a return route that ran through thick bush tangled with brambles and other hazards. While still having faith that the path lay somewhere in the direction we were headed, the many cuts and scrapes on our hands and legs attested to the questionable reasoning exhibited in this decision. Eventually we came upon a clearing, and Sue said it looked like something or someone had lain there or bedded down there. I had to agree. And then we saw the berry. It was orange and lay dead center, sitting there in fresh, pristine condition. Looking around, we saw that there were no other salmonberry bushes in the vicinity from which it could have fallen. We decided that it had to have been placed there with hands. We never saw another human the entire time we were there. That fact, and the remote and hard to access nature of the locale, made the odds of it being human placed astronomical in our minds. As we exited this area and rejoined the modest path, Sue told me that she heard something big moving around in the bush in the exact area where the berry offering was placed. We pondered the berry mystery, and it occupied our minds throughout the rest of our adventure that day. Shortly after, it came to me, and it was confirmed in the way these people always confirm things to me. One of our forest friends was watching us as we picked the fruit and led us to the exact spot we were gifted with this single succulent gem. I have absolutely no doubt that this is the case, and as always, I am amazed and humbled with the things these amazing people do. Thank you from both of us. Now, as I said, this account is quite naive to my understanding now, but it's true to the time, and every year, every month, I'm continually growing in my path with them and with the lessons that I get. So it's a really, really wonderful story, and one that I treasure, and one that I will always remember as one of the special ones that Sue and I shared together. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it.
I'm on the road, I'm on the road this time. I feel my luck could change. Kill me, Sarah, kill me again with love. It's gonna be a glorious day. Pull me out of the air crash, pull me of the lake. I'm your superhero. We are standing on the edge. The here to stay has sent for me by name, but I don't have time for him. It's gonna be a glorious day. Luck could change. Pull me out of the air crash, pull me out of the lake. I'm your superhero. We are standing on the edge. pull me out of the lake. I'm your superhero. We are standing